Okay folks, I promised you all a video showing me how to do LOCA. That stands for Liquid Optically Clear Adhesive. So I'll just show you what it looks like, the tube, the product that I get. It's a little different what you see out there on YouTube right now. This doesn't have anybody's name on it, or it's not endorsing any website. This is just straight from the manufacturer. And this could be purchased on eBay. Pretty inexpensive. You could find it for about $20 a tube if you look well enough. And I'll put up some link for you guys that you could find it for a fair price. Okay, so before we proceed, this is going to be a long video. I'm going to warn you, but I try to be as thorough as I can and try to educate as well as I can. What we have here is an S3. This is the only phone I'm going to be doing. I may do a Note 2 in the future, but I'm going to start with the S3 for you all. The phone has been prepped for the most part. The glass has already been removed. All the old optical clear adhesive has been removed, and it's ready for the double-sided tape. So essentially the process is exactly the same as my part 1, part 2 video from the original repair, trying to teach you all how to do your own glass. Some of you are successful, obviously some of you are not. It's not the easiest job in the world to do. If you do enough of them, it does become easy. So the way this phone is prepped though, folks, it's really a good idea. I would highly recommend you remove the motherboard. I do have a video that shows the disassembly of the phone, but the reason why I do this is because there's certainly leakage points. We're dealing with a liquid, folks, and there's really no definitive way to measure the exact amount you need. Okay, what Samsung uses is what they call an Oca sheet. It's a sheet, so it's dry to a degree, and then they put glass on it, and then they put it in a heated autoclave. So what this is, though, is a liquid. Again, this is a kind of a, well, an unauthorized fix, however you want to say it. But enough of that. The problem is, I'm going to build a border, just like I do on my other repair videos, of double-sided tape all the way around, a rectangular shape. And in the original repair, that's to keep dust out from entering in from in between the glass, especially in this area. It gets underneath very easily here. As you can see, there's plenty of points for it to come in. The reason why I'm going to do the double-sided tape rectangular border in this with the LOCA is to try to build a bridge to stop the LOCA from oozing into this area here and to this area here. Okay? Now, as you notice, I can put the instrument through these holes. Originally, what's housed here is, of course, the proximity sensor, okay, and also the front camera. Now, if you could do the job perfectly, then you wouldn't have to remove the motherboard and you wouldn't have to worry about it oozing over. But there have been people on XDA forums that have attempted this repair, and they've had a tremendous amount oozing in here that's done damage to their camera. Eventually, I mean, I don't know how much they use, obviously way too much, but it oozed into where the motherboard area is, and that of course did a lot of damage and eventually destroyed the phone. So what I'm going to do is remove it just in case, because I've done a few of these and I have had a little bit leak into here, okay, and has caused me to have to remove it before I put the original equipment back in. All right, so I'm going to pause, and when I pause, I'm going to come back and we're going to have this bridge. I could essentially probably just do it as you wait if you don't mind. You could fast forward. So we're going to do it the same way. Now, what I wanted to show you here actually, so that's why I'm not going to pause. The LCD is inlaid into the frame, and you could see over here the ribbon cable. You could see the space in here, okay? I had some ooze out here, and how did it get there? Well, essentially, I'm going to zoom in here, okay? The space, which is right here, it's tiny, but there is a space between the glass and the frame right here, and it runs all the way up and all the way around, okay? So this space allows for the liquid adhesive to get underneath and then infiltrate on the back side where the motherboard is housed. Now, quite simply, what I'm going to try to do is cover that space with the double-sided tape. You notice I left on the original black adhesive, which I do remove with the LOCA free repair. In this case, I'm going to leave it on, because it's not going to affect anything. It's actually going to help us, and I'm going to put my double-sided tape over that to seal that all the way around. Now, at the top and bottom, I'm going to do an extra layer of double-sided tape, and I'll show you what I mean. Again, covering that crack. You can notice the tape is a little bit off the inside edge, or excuse me, the outside edge, and that's so I cover that crack. Okay. Now there is that black border I've spoken about. Black border's actually right here. You can barely see it. Let me see if I can bring it in and you could see. I'm on a magnifying lens, and with this kind of light, unfortunately, you can see that black border. So if your tape is not over that black border there, you're not going to see it. Okay. That's why they kept it there. So the view angle actually starts here, or the viewing area starts here, where it's a little bit more blue. Okay, so let me zoom out. Give you all the information I can here without boring. Okay, it makes some room for my hands to work. You'll have to forgive me. I'm actually recording from a Note 2. And just like the original repair on video 1 and 2, after you have the glass removed, and you can watch that. There's also a video, sorry if I'm repeating myself, where I show you how to remove the motherboard, etc. So it's a disassembly video. I'm sure they could be found on YouTube, but I would always appreciate you watching mine. Okay. And here we're going to create as good as a seal as we can. So we don't mind the LOCA spilling out the sides. And on every repair I've done yet, it has. And you have to wipe it down with the paper towel as best you can before you cure. We don't want the LOCA going into this area here. We don't want the LOCA penetrating to the back and wreaking havoc on the electronics. Okay? Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to give it a quick wipe down to get any smudges off. Now, what I've noticed, pay attention, is that micro dust particles, and I certainly do not have a clean room, but micro dust particles have, in my theory, caused some micro air bubbles to form on a few of my attempted repairs, which I, of course, had to abort, clean everything off with acetone, which is a painstaking process. Didn't even attempt to clean the glass, just discarded the glass and started fresh again. So what I've done, what I figured out was if I prep, and it's not so much this, it's actually the glass. A lot of the glass, you take off the protective plastic, and it causes static electricity. So I've taken the glass and I prep it with Glass Plus, not Windex. Windex leaves too many smudges or residue. I like Glass Plus, it seems to be a bit more effective. Okay. And I prep the glass, I wipe it down. You're like, well, aren't you going to contaminate the inside glass? It came out of the plastic, it's perfect. A lot of times the glass out of China doesn't come perfect, number one. Number two, even if it does have a tiny slight smudge, once it makes contact with LOCA, it seems to take care of that. I mean, unless it's highly contaminated, you're not going to see it. Okay. If the video is out of focus, I really apologize. Like I said, I don't use any specialty equipment. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is put another layer of double-sided tape. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I want to make this dam, this artificial dam, as high as I can, as I said before. Not too high, so that LOCA doesn't ooze into these areas. Okay. Okay, we're getting pretty close. I really haven't prepped anything ahead of time here, folks. So like I said, I don't know how long this video is going to take. I don't want to pause it. Believe it or not, I have had people send me questions saying, how come you paused the video? Did you cut? Did you manipulate the video? You're a fake. I mean, there's just a lot of people out there in the world, isn't there, folks? Boy, of all walks. So many comments I've deleted. Just unnecessary. Please don't post anything on my videos with any silliness or anything, because I'll just delete it. I don't have time for that stuff. I try to keep my videos nice and clean without any people cursing or posting 4-letter words, etc. Just unnecessary. So let's keep it clean, please. Okay, so there you go, Glass Plus. And maybe a little smudge here. And go up and down. Yeah, I don't use compressed air in a can. I found that at least a few brands that I've tried actually release a residue if you hold them down too long. You know, if it's CO2, whatever it is, but it gets on the glass. It gets on the digitizer and you can see a film. So I gave up on it. So I just blow. Try to get my mouth as nice and dry inside as I can so I don't spit on it. But I have. It happens. So really, that's as smudge-free as we really need it. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'll keep going until I'm absolutely satisfied. So you can just watch and be bored. But you're going to do the same thing if you attempt this. Now, for those of you who don't want to attempt it, well, I do offer the service. I don't advertise. It's not my day job. Just a hobby that I enjoy doing on the side. Good, clean fun for me. But I do offer the service, and you can email me at marcustazxda@gmail.com. Please, kids, don't email me without your parents. I've had people email me kids, and they just take my time. They ask a million questions, and then in the end they go, okay, I'm going to try it myself. After they ask how much you charge and how long does it take and everything else. So please, no unnecessary questions unless you're absolutely interested. All right? I had too much coffee today. Okay, here we go. So we're pretty good there. Now I'm going to break out the glass. So a brand new piece of glass. And I'm going to lift this up so we can get some room under here for me to work. So I'm going to pull this off, and the glass that I buy from this distributor comes with the two outside, and then it has an inside. I've had people do this and not take off this inside. They go, hey, how come it's really gray, or how come it's glared in the sun? Hey, this repair's no good. It glares in the sun without the LOCA. It's baloney. If you clean this good, you don't have to do the LOCA. If you clean it good and you build the dam up like I just did and you seal it on, and as clean of a dust room as you can, you won't see a glare in the sun. That's a bunch of malarkey. Okay, so you can see this inside. Now that glass is really clean. It's also a bit sticky. And yeah, I'm going to do this. Look, there you go. There's props, Glass Plus. I'm going to do this. Oh my goodness, I'm putting Glass Plus on a brand new piece of glass. Well, again, I learned the hard way. And I really believe that if I don't prep it, micro air bubbles will form on the LOCA. Now, where did I figure out how to do LOCA? Well, there is a guy online, Phone Fix It Pro or something, I don't know. He's on YouTube. He's posted some pretty good videos. Doesn't give exact details on how to do it. Sells all the stuff. I think you can get their phone repaired by them as well. And I basically just watched him and played copycat. Just fun. I mean, that's how you learn, right? Why else post it on YouTube? It's for all of us to learn and share, right? And that's the wonderful website XDA, who's helped me with so much stuff. What a great community of people that help one another. So I've prepped it, and I'm just working on the glass right now. I prepped it with the Glass Plus, and now I'm just rubbing it down to get as much of the smudges off of it. There are some still. And once I'm ready to go, I'll let you know. Almost ready. Okay, so I did actually pause it to clean the glass up. I'm going to sit here for an hour while I clean and blow. This is the UV lamp. I got it from eBay. It's a great lamp. It has that many bulbs, 4 bulbs in it. And once the LOCA's on, it allows me to kind of slide the phone or just kind of put it over. Now, there are some handheld ones you can get. Maybe I'll get one of those in the future, but for now, this was really inexpensive for me to start the process. A handheld one might be easier because then you could just kind of go do this and hover, where this kind of thing is kind of sort of hard to hold. I mean, maybe I can sort of do this with my hand like that. All right, so UV light, standing by, and now we're going to proceed with the LOCA. So it doesn't really come with the best applicator. I know the one that's for sale, probably for more money, has the plunger and maybe a better tip. But this one actually does the job pretty good. We're just going to lay some white paper down in case it gets messy. And I'm also going to get some paper towels ready. Okay, just getting some paper towels and standby. If you got a friend that's hanging out, standing by, it might be actually pretty good to have an extra hand here to hand you some stuff. Okay, I'm just cutting these paper towels into smaller pieces because that's all you need. Okay, so the way the gentleman did it online, I'm going to use his shape, same shape that he did his LOCA. Okay. Make some room here on my messy desk. Okay, so we're going to make like almost an arrow here. Then we're going to go down the middle, and then we're going to make an arrow here. And the gentleman, I think it's Phone Fix It Pro, claims that they found in their experience that this is the best way to distribute. If you put too little, you're going to have to press hard. If you press hard, you're going to cause more oozing. If you put too much, it's going to ooze. So it's really a kind of, no, it's not a perfect science, folks. So just so you understand, okay, I'm going to zoom a little bit for you so you can watch me. And hopefully my hands won't get in the way. Now I'll put more as I'm going out towards the center. I'm going to squeeze a little bit harder. Now I'll turn. And now I'm going to back off plunging. So there's not as much towards the top. Now I immediately drag away. And I'm going to lay it in the center. Okay, again, making a triangle on this side. There. There. That looks pretty good. You don't have to rush. The LOCA only cures with UV light. Now some have asked, hey, can I stick it in the sun? No, the sun doesn't give off UV. this. You know what? I wouldn't do it with the sun. You know, the longer you wait, the more the glass has time to lift, etc. These UV lights are so inexpensive. This thing cost me 20 bucks on eBay. So I wouldn't do it. A little bit of dust floating around. It's not a clean room, unfortunately. Wish I had one, but we're not going there, right? Okay, so we're just going to get ready to leave. Just see a little bit right there. Let me just make sure I get this off. Little contamination. There you go. Okay. So we're going to hold the glass on one end, like so, with this, and then we're going to lay it down slow, and you're going to see it distribute. Okay? First things first is I want to lean it this way. Just blowing off some extra pieces of dust that I see. And we're going to go back and forth and kind of just let it lay out. Okay. And now we're going to lay the glass down. Of course, if you had a clean room, you wouldn't have to go through everything I'm going through, but this is when you do it at home and you don't have a phone shop. Okay, so I'm going to lay it in. I'm going to hold it with this hand. I'm going to take my instrument and I'm going to hold the glass like so. And there, it's starting to make contact. You can see it. And you want to go real slow because you don't want micro air bubbles to form. And you don't want to press down if you don't have to. Nice and easy, let it down. Just like so. Glass a little crooked, just pushed it over, and you can just see it spreading out. Now I remove the pick, push the glass over a little bit again. Now I really don't want to press down right now. I just want to let gravity maybe press down up here a little bit, and press down up here a little bit. So notice I'm pressing where I built the two-sided tape. Nothing down here yet, no pressure here. I want to try to seal it. I haven't done one of these. I've done about a half a dozen, and they've all leaked a little bit. That's just the way it goes, right, folks? Okay, so I'm just trying to press down to distribute it without pressing down too hard to make it ooze. And apparently I didn't put enough in, per se, for it to just follow itself out. I did at the top, but at the bottom here it's kind of weak. So I'm pressing on the edges to get them to adhere to the double-sided tape, trying to stay away from pressing here or at the top. And you can see it's filling in ever so gently. And hopefully the light's giving you the ability to see. It's starting to fill in up here where my finger, that's right where we need it to. Okay, so it looks perfect right now, and you can see if I let loose right there, it's going to come up. Some oozed out there, and I'm going to turn the light on. I'm going to bring it in and just let the bottom harden a little bit. Okay. Now while holding down, I'm going to move my fingers up, and I'm going to slowly move the phone in. Now I'm going to bury the phone. Sorry. That's pretty much how you do it. So this one looks like I didn't get a lot oozing in. It looks pretty good. And really the glue is probably dry right now. I've completely lifted pressure off my hands, and we're going to find out if it was a good job or not. We're going to leave this over the phone for just a minute more. Now we remove it and we look. Let's see a tiny bit in the corner I may have missed. Just, you can barely see it, but I mean from a glass where the phone was shattered, it looks pretty darn good. I have nothing oozed in here. You can see the glass is a little high in the corner here. That's okay. We can push it down a little bit. For the most part, the phone looks fantastic. Maybe a tiny bit right there, but you can barely see. And like I said, I'm a very particular individual. If I don't get it right, it bugs me. So we're just going to leave the phone in a little bit longer to let it dry, and that really does it. I mean, that's pretty much. I'm going to assemble the phone while you watch, again, so the naysayers don't say, hey, man, hey, you know, what a bunch of baloney. I don't want to really make any cuts. I only paused the video once to clean the glass, and everything else you've been hearing me blabber. Now, does the LOCA, see the button? Works beautiful. Okay, just going to hold that down for it to dry a little more right there. Just my hand with it back under the lamp. Okay. And I'm just going to chamois it. Phone looks fantastic. Let's zoom out. If I'm zoomed in, I don't even know. Let's lift up so you can see a little bit more. Nope, there goes my lamp. I'm going to put a little bit of Glass Plus on it, clean it up. It's got a little bit of smudging going on. Now, they say acetone is the cleaner of choice to clean it. You can see that came out just about perfect. So Glass Plus is the cleaner of choice. I got nothing in the front glass hole. This is probably, out of the half dozen I've done, this is probably the best one yet. A little bit of double-sided tape left over right up here. We just kind of push it in. It was folded over. Kind of cleaning that double-sided tape out. But out of the 6 I've done, this being the 7th, this is the best one yet. So folks, look, it's like everything else. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Really, simply. All right, so let's shut the UV light off for a moment. Okay, and now let's reassemble the phone. I'm going to raise this up, try to tighten this down. These things are getting weak. Okay, see if that holds. And it. Get me back on my work platform here. Let's move this in. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and reassemble. So the first thing we want to do is put back in the camera and the proximity sensor. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to lay that in real gently. And I hope this doesn't go out of focus. Okay, we're going to lay in top rubber grommet plate. Now we get the pan head Phillips screw. So there's your camera, front camera and proximity sensor reassembled. Now we're going to lay the motherboard in. And of course, you know I have the IMEI sticker covered up for security purposes. So we're going to lay it in. Great to do these phones with a dental pick. Without them, they're tough. Okay, we're going to snap in the soft connectors. Okay, let's bring the speaker in. So this is a reverse of the disassembly. Pop that in. Pop the ribbon cable on. And let's, oh, we got a screw sitting there. Okay, so that top half of the phone is good. Now we carefully are going to reconnect the Wi-Fi antenna. Sometimes these are tricky. You got to just take your time because you don't want to bend them and they pop on. Okay, LCD connector, main LCD connector right there. And that's it. Now we're going to put in the one black Phillips screw to hold the motherboard in. This is a Sprint version, but they're all almost identical in terms of disassembly. Now, we don't have to put the back on yet. I mean, I could put the back on here. But let's just power it up, flip it over. That's all you really need to see, right? Why bore you? So, battery in. Let's roll over. Press power. Felt the vibration. There's your Samsung logo. And while it's booting up, let's get a little more Glass Plus. Throw it on my big yellow chamois. Clean this baby up nice. Yep, I'll tell you, that sticky LOCA gets on everything. Just take your time. Okay, and here you go, folks. This is a brand new phone. Now, here's the thing. If you don't want to go through the whole LOCA thing, you could still do the old style repair that I showed you guys a long time ago, almost a year strong now. It's so sad the phone is fragile. It's a great phone, and you know, Gorilla Glass 3 on the S4, boy, that stuff's strong. You know how many I've seen of those that are broken. But at any rate, you don't have to do the LOCA. The only side effect of not doing the LOCA, when the original optically clear adhesive is removed between the glass and the digitizer. If you press too hard and the glass makes contact with the digitizer, again, this is after you repair it with a new glass, the phone will freeze. It's some crazy calibration thing that Samsung put into the phone. From what I hear, it doesn't happen with HTCs, whatever, but I don't have experience with those. It happens with Samsung. On Note 2s, even though I have a repair video up, I am going to do one with the LOCA. Note's a different story. It's a much larger surface area, so the glass tends to flex more. And then, you know, people like to put them in their pocket, like they're, you know, with the jeans and whatever, and they sit on them and break them anyway. I don't know why they wear them there, but, you know, you sit on them, and without the LOCA on a Note 2, it makes a big cherry spot. It could even happen on an S3. However, I just want to show you the button operation. So with a Note 2, I wouldn't recommend doing glass repair, honestly, without doing LOCA or just replacing the digitizer. So let's go back to home. Let's press my, there you go, my Note 2 to focus. Let's switch to the camera. And so I want to let you see the front camera works perfectly fine. Oh, there you are. You're looking up at my lamp. That's the front. Back camera is facing into the thing. That's why it's black. So there you can see what my camera is looking through. All right. Works perfectly fine. Phone came out fabulous.